Most people think the world's most dangerous places are located in forests or jungles. But this woman vanished right before the FBI's eyes, with $4 billion in her pocket. October 25th, 2017. A typical low-cost airline. No private jets, so as not to attract attention. This was the last time the world saw Dr. Ruja Ignatova. She stepped off the plane and vanished. Years later, the FBI would admit they'd overslept the greatest escape in history. But how could one woman deceive a system employing thousands of agents? To understand where she went, we must understand who she was. Dr. Ruja was an Oxford graduate and a McKinsey consultant, an intellect that could have built the next Google, but chose something more interesting. She called it OneCoin, the Bitcoin killer. She promised people that in 2 years they would forget about paper money. And people believed her. It wasn't just a Ponzi scheme. It was an epidemic. Ruja created a cult. People sold their homes and cars to buy tokens that existed only on her laptop screen. In 2016, she took to the Wembley stage to Alicia Keys's Girl on Fire. Thousands of people screamed her name. At that moment, she was richer and more powerful than any president. But while the crowd was cheering, the intelligence agencies began to suspect something. There was no blockchain in the OneCoin documents. There was no technology. There was only a gigantic SQL database that could be modified with a single keystroke. Ruja made one fatal mistake. She fell in love, and she bugged her lover, Gilbert Armenta's apartment. What she heard that night made her blood run cold. Her closest friend worked for the government. She had less than 48 hours to disappear forever. And so, she took action. Ruja Ignatova wasn't born with a silver spoon in her mouth. She moved to Germany from Bulgaria at age 10. At school, she was teased for being poor, and it was then that she vowed one day she would buy the whole world. She was a genius. Oxford, a law degree, a job at McKinsey, the world's most prestigious consulting firm. She knew how the rich people's money worked better than the rich themselves. Her criminal career began long before cryptocurrency. In 2012, she and her father bought a metallurgical plant in Germany, bankrupted it, and siphoned off all its assets. She received a suspended sentence back then, but that was just a rehearsal. In 2014, she met Sebastian Greenwood. Together, they created the perfect trap. They understood that people didn't want to understand Bitcoin's code. They just wanted to become millionaires overnight. She created the image of the CryptoQueen. Red dresses, tons of diamonds, and a confident voice. She sold a dream, knowing that behind the scenes of this dream was absolute emptiness. At the height of her success, Ruja lived like an empress. She bought a $15 million yacht and hosted parties for the elite there. The world was at her feet, and she spent other people's savings as if they would never run out. Her £13 million London apartment was adorned with masterpieces of art. But behind the paintings lurked a harsh reality. Ruja didn't trust banks. She kept millions in cash right at her fingertips. But while she was celebrating, Agent Perot and his team began to notice oddities. The OneCoin money wasn't being invested. It was simply being funneled through a network of shell companies into the personal accounts of Ruja and her brother. The first cracks appeared when investors tried to withdraw their funds. The website froze, and technical support was silent. Thousands of people realized their millions had been reduced to a collection of useless pixels on a screen. Ruja realized that time was up. Her partners were being arrested one after another. She had to either surrender or do something no one expected. She chose the latter. October 24th, 2017. While the FBI was preparing a warrant for her arrest in New York, Ruja already knew about it. She had contacts in the Bulgarian security services who whispered to her, "Run, they're coming for you." She chose the most ingenious and humiliating method for the FBI. No private jets that are easy to track. She bought a ticket on a regular low-cost airline, the cheapest flight, full of tourists. No one on board recognized the woman as the world's most wanted criminal. She flew to Athens, knowing that as soon as the landing gear touched the ground, she would become a ghost. Athens, 11 a.m. She walked out of the terminal, got into a black Mercedes, and that was it. From that moment on, not a single CCTV camera in the world captured her face again. When the agents stormed her mansion, it was empty. She left them with nothing but dust and millions of deceived people. The hunt was on, but Agent Perot knew they were looking for a shadow. Where does a man with 4 billion disappear to? The answer is simple: under the wing of those above the law. Ruja's security was said to have been provided by Taki, Bulgaria's most powerful drug lord. She was his gold mine. There's also a darker version. In 2023, insiders claimed Ruja had been murdered back in 2018 on that very yacht, on orders from the mafia. Her body was allegedly dismembered and dumped in the Ionian Sea to prevent her from testifying. But the FBI doesn't believe she's dead. With that kind of money, you could buy not only silence, but also a new face. Plastic surgery could transform the CryptoQueen into an ordinary housewife from the suburbs of Dubai or Berlin. Look at those faces. She may have had surgery to change her jaw, nose shape, and even eye color. The FBI put her on its 10 most wanted list precisely because she could be anyone. The price on her head is $5 million. It's the largest reward for a woman in the Bureau's history. Someone knows where she is, and sooner or later, that someone will want that money. When Ruja vanished into thin air, the OneCoin empire didn't collapse. Her younger brother, Constantine, took her place. He wasn't an Oxford genius, he was her bodyguard. But now he had to play the role of Messiah. March 2019. Constantine arrives in the US thinking he's untouchable. But Agent Perot and the FBI were already waiting for him right at the ramp. It was a crushing blow to OneCoin. During interrogation, Constantine quickly broke down. He admitted everything: money laundering, fraud, and, most importantly, he confirmed that his sister knew about the FBI surveillance long before her escape. Investigators discovered that the pyramid scheme continued to operate even after the leaders were arrested. Billions of dollars were scattered around the world, from real estate in Dubai to oil fields in Madagascar. But behind every million found were thousands of ruined lives. While Constantine awaited sentencing, his sister, somewhere in the world, was opening another bottle of $10,000 champagne. The OneCoin trail led Agent Perot to the most unexpected places. It turned out that Ruja had invested hundreds of millions in government bonds and real estate in Madagascar. She was literally trying to buy herself an island nation, a place where the law was powerless. The money was laundered through a network of banks in Dubai and the Cayman Islands. But the FBI discovered something more alarming. Some of the funds were used to finance political campaigns and bribe high-ranking officials in Europe. This explains why she managed to stay afloat for so long. She didn't just steal, she bought the loyalty of those who would have arrested her. Ruja had eyes and ears in every office where her case was discussed. For millions of ordinary people, time passed differently. In Uganda and Vietnam, families mortgaged their farms, hoping for a miracle from OneCoin. When the pyramid collapsed, they were left with nothing. For Ruja, it was a statistic. For them, it was the end of their lives. Complaints poured in by the thousands, but Ruza was already out of reach. She had created the perfect machine for converting hope into pure cash, and when the tank was full, she simply stepped on the gas. When the official investigation reached a dead end, ordinary people took up the hunt. Thousands of OneCoin victims united online. They analyzed satellite images, tracked yachts, and searched for Ruja among the crowds at Dubai's elite resorts. Life on the run with 4 billion isn't just luxury, it's perpetual fear. Every waiter, every passerby with a smartphone could be the one to recognize her and claim their 5 million reward. Is she dead? Or is she the architect of her own disappearance, reading headlines about herself right now and laughing? One thing is certain. The OneCoin case has become the most expensive lesson in human history. The world of cryptocurrency promised freedom, but Ruja Ignatova revealed its dark side. Her story is a reminder that the greatest danger lies not in code, but in human greed. The hunt continues. What do you think? Share your theories in the comments. This was Agent Perot. See you in the next investigation.